Waiting for Dawnlight, written by Joseph Lee and Hyojung Yu. This divorce recovery program is prepared for the missionaries. Chapter 1, Singleness, based on the Rehab story of a turning around. When we see a character named Rehab and how her life turned around, we can get answer of recovery from divorce. When we see Old Testament, book of Joshua, Rehab recognized the power of God and hid the spies sent by Joshua. When the Jericho was collapsed, she and her family were saved. Later, she married Salmon, one of the spies, and gave birth a son named Boaz. He is the one written as a rich and powerful man in book of Ruth, chapter 2. Expect God who will give you the best thing. Exciting things could happen to you by the faith in God. Divorce is brokenness of a marriage, which gives a strong blow to people. When people try to separate the papers attached with glue, paper hardly comes out nicely, but turns ugly. The same thing happens when marriage life ends between a husband and wife. Scholars say that marriage brokenness by divorce or death gives the strongest blow to people in their lives. Divorce gives worst impact since it could leave scar by the things like lawsuit of fortune, custody of children, etc. In conclusion, divorce is the ending of the marriage in despair, even though it started with love songs by two. What kind of symptoms could happen after divorce? Spiritual, mental, physical energy is almost none, since emotional energy is occupied by the feeling of rejection, anger, and loneliness. They hardly can pray because spiritual energy is barely left. They have a hard time to think because of less mental energy, and lastly, hard to move around with not much physical energy. How long does it take for restoration from this critical impact? They say it usually takes at least 2 to 3 years. What would be the suggestions for recovery? First, having lamenting time of death of marriage. Secondly, getting help from family, friends, and maybe having pets. The last one, the most important one, it's getting personal relationships with God. What are they supposed to be careful at this time? Dating a new man or woman. Even people with a strong moral sense might fall because of emptiness, loneliness, and anger. The newly divorced might want to show up that they still have a charm or attraction to an opposite sex. However, dating must be the last one for the recovery from divorce. What are some good suggestions for those who miss ex-spouse? They should control themselves with God-given free will. Example, Aesop's fable of grapes and fox. A fox was walking near a grapeyard and found the grapes hung very high. He jumped several times but couldn't catch them. Finally, he gave up and passed away with saying, "Those are sour grapes." Likewise, it is good for them to think it's nothing. Then it would be helpful in healing from the loss. Lastly, I would like to share a Bible verse from Joshua chapter 2, verse 11. The Lord your God is God in heaven above and on the earth below. I pray that you are getting strong faith in God like Rehab.
Like the first morning, blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the sea.